Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Be Healthy and Thrive podcast. My name is Brianna Wilkerson here. I'm a holistic health and life coach as well as an essential oil advocate. And today we're here to talk about another one of my favorite oils, DigestZen, which it does just what it talks about. It really helps Zen calm your belly and your digestive and gastrointestinal tract. This is definitely one of my favorites because if you know me, digestive health is really important to me. It's something that I used to struggle a lot with. But also as I learn more about foods and the impact of stress and sleep and all these different things on our bodies, really understanding that our digestive system, 60 to 80% of our immune system is in it. So when that is operating the way it should, we will be operating and our health will be operating the way it should. And so there are different times, even when you're eating well and all these different things, your stomach just hurts and it's the most uncomfortable feeling like ever. And so this is a great oil. I'm actually finished with mine. It's so sad, like right down to the last 2 drops that I made, so I'm like, okay, what else can I use? But I've been using the single oils in them and so it's known as the Tummy Tamer blend. It contains ginger, fennel, coriander, peppermint, tarragon, anise, and caraway. All of these oils and different, herbs are really powerful to calm the stomach, to aid with digestion and help maintain a healthy gastrointestinal tract. It can really help with easing feelings of queasiness, reduce bloating, gas, and causing anything that causes indigestion. So a little bit about the science behind it then. So because you have multiple different oils in here, they all bring their own chemical constituents, right? And I've kind of talked about peppermint in the other podcast and episode. So basically I'm going to talk about ginger here. And so ginger, most people know when you're feeling sick in general, whether it's an immune thing or whatever, or your stomach, ginger is the thing to do. And I'll tell you why. So ginger, basically one of its main chemical constituents is zingiberine. It is made up of a chemical group. So that's the particular constituent, but then this belongs to sesquiterpenes, which is different than monoterpenes. Sesquiterpenes is more of a thicker, long-lasting oils. They have more carbon atom makeups, if you want to know all of that. So it's other, ones related to it are stuff like myrrh and ylang-ylang, in that if you've seen those before, those are very thick oils. And so basically, those chemical constituents in ginger really help aid us with digestive health and really promote the grounding and balance of emotions when using aromatically. Alpha zingi, I'm going to call it alpha zingi, is really what gives ginger its unique taste. It helps with the soothing properties for the body and so forth. So ginger itself is a great oil to have, but it's just beautiful when you can have all of these different oils that really aid in digestive and gastrointestinal health in one blend. So because of that, it's expectorant is what we call it. It's a cooling blend. It's a laxative if you need to do that. I mean, obviously it's not going to be laxative like bad, like laxative, like, what happens when you like diarrhea form, like that's not what DigestZen does. It's a diuretic, which again, cleansing out, antiparasitic, cooling, invigorating, and so forth. And so that's what kind of the science behind that. That's what makes that. And so peppermint, when we're looking at the sourcing, peppermint comes from Washington State. And we've talked a little bit about that the climate there is really perfect to foster a high menthol content is what makes peppermint peppermint. Ginger comes from Madagascar. Ginger is taken from kind of the underground stem of the ginger plant. It is highly aromatic, has thick roots, long shoots with leaves and pale flowers. And the climate of Madagascar makes this thicker oil kind of this plant even be able to grow really well. Fennel comes from Egypt. It's known for its evergreen, perennial, native to the Mediterranean, and it's kind of what makes licorice, honestly. So even, I don't know if you know this fun fact, licorice actually started when they needed just stuff to soothe people's tummies. And so they made it with fennel, and then it went to this candy that, I don't know if you don't like licorice, I don't know if you're going to like fennel, but I love it actually. So that's a little bit about the sourcing. So a little bit about the safety of it. It can be used aromatically, topically, and internally. It's not one that you typically will diffuse, to be quite honest. It's one that I would recommend if you're taking it internally. You take it with either in your water or in a capsule, but it's one that you should rub on, I think. And it's fine to use without coconut oil for adults, but definitely use it for kids. But again, there's no problem. Like the coconut oil helps, it go in better. And so that's that. And again, don't overexpose yourself or kids too. And if you're pregnant, just always talk to doctors or always, reach out if you have questions around that. Like how much, the main thing that I think people tend to ask me is, one, is it safe to use in X, Y, and Z way? And how much should I use, that sort of thing. So again, it's great. Some of the uses for bloating, gas, heartburn, nausea, indigestion, reflux and colic, morning sickness and heartburn, motion and travel sickness, colitis or irritable bowel syndrome, diarrhea and constipation, Crohn's disease, which is kind of autoimmune condition, chronic fatigue, food poisoning, cough and sinus, and congestion. All right, some of the emotions. So it only makes sense that it's the oil of digestion, not just physically, but emotionally. Basically, sometimes we're overloaded with information, with choices, with things in life that it's hard to break down and come to the point where we can actually make that decision. So DigestZen is about digesting the different information in life and not having emotional indigestion, but also really like coming to that place where we can settle things. And sometimes we're actually overfed and also either undernourished. We're either overstimulated or overwhelmed or not. So it really just helps us break down, say, what do we need and how do we kind of get there? What helps us get there? And then again, some testimonials. I'll tell you straight up, it works. I have told you digestive concerns are some of my big things, and just seeing the way that it has, I'm very sensitive to a lot of food. So if something upsets my stomach, using it, being able to use it has been a godsend. Just really grateful. And it's just really helped with when I had food poisoning, it helped. When I had, because you know what happens with food poisoning, that helped. And I have gas when I have indigestion, all those things. So personally, I can attest to this and say that if you have any digestive concern at all or know anyone that you can, I actually even had someone with her young infant, because they're just new, their bodies are digesting things in life. She just took a lot of coconut oil, I think 2 tablespoons and 1 drop of DigestZen, rubbed it on her daughter, and she realized that her daughter stopped crying because she was just going out of control, and she was like, maybe it's her tummy. And so it's a really beautiful oil. So definitely check out the Essential Oils one-on-one webinar that I'll link here if you're wondering more about all these oils, if this is one of the first episodes you've listened to. But also let me know if you would like to try some of these oils, because there's one thing to learn about it. It's another thing to actually use them. I do provide a lot of support for the people who choose to sign up on my team, just whether they want to use, share, or whatever the oils. Most are users, because I want you to know how to use them and not just know about them. And that is the most powerful thing. So I do classes, conversations one-on-one, as well as have a Facebook group. So that's it for me. Thanks for staying tuned for another Essential Oil feature. I'll see you on the next episode or Essential Oil feature. I'll talk to you later. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review if any of this has helped you, and share the podcast with others if you know that they would love to learn more about essential oils, but health and life, because that's what Be Healthy and Thrive is all about. Okay? Bye.